Hey guys, in this video we are taking a look at two condenser microphones. We have the older CAD M179 and we have the newer Samson CL8a. That's S-A-M-S-O-N. I bought the older CAD M179s a few years ago off a drummer who was using them for, I think, a kick drum. And the Samson CL8as I was sent for review by Samson this last week. I'm under no obligation to give it a good review, nor am I being paid to do a review, but they did send me it for review. Instead of trying to give you my opinion on each one, I thought it'd be better to just offer a comparison. And so for this video, I'm going to run down the features, the specifications of both, take a closer look at both of them, and then do some audio testing just to show how they each sound and give a final conclusion. In terms of feature and price, both these microphones are quite similar. The CAD M179 goes for about $199 on B&H, while the CL8a goes for about $162 on B&H. They both have a 1.1 inch diameter diaphragm, which you can kind of see here, and I think they actually have two of them each, and that lets them switch between different polar patterns. On the CL8a, we have a switch that lets you switch between figure 8, cardioid, and omnidirectional. I'm currently recording omnidirectional from about 15 inches away. And on the CAD M179, also about 15 inches away, there's a little dial, very quiet, and lets you switch between the same polar patterns, but you have the option to go in between polar patterns. So you have quite a lot of fine-grained adjustments there on how you want the polar patterns to sound, which I kind of like. Both microphones have a high-pass filter set to 100 Hertz. So if you have a buzzing sound or like a ground loop hum, you can flip the switch and cut that noise out, which is very useful. There is also a pad, so if you want to quiet the microphone down for some reason, maybe you have a very loud source. In the case of the M179s, you might want to use them for drum kits, and in that case they have a negative 20 dB pad, while the CL8a has a negative 10 dB pad. Now I'm recording currently in omnidirectional, partly because I'm behind the microphone. I also wanted to avoid proximity effect, so if I get close or far away from the microphone, I didn't want the tone or the bass of the microphone to change all that much. Now, I thought it was pretty interesting to see that there was a manual that came with the CL8a that actually was pretty interesting. It explains how to use the microphone and some microphone basics, how to set the signal level, using the pad switch, what is the high pass filter and how to use it. It goes through all the different polar patterns, so omnidirectional, cardioid, figure 8, and then it explains, for example, what the proximity effect is, and so why you might want to use cardioid. Cardioid microphones exhibit a phenomenon known as proximity effect. Proximity effect is a resulting change in the frequency response of a microphone based on the position of the microphone capsule relative to the sound source. In general, as the microphone moves closer to the sound source, the bass response increases. And I can demonstrate that by flipping the switch. And now I'm set to cardioid, and as I get closer to the microphone, my bass level goes up. So I have a deeper voice. I lowered my volume just because I didn't want to make this too loud. And if I switch to omnidirectional, it's less bassy. And so you have those options, and it helps to explain in the manual all about that. And then it goes through about placement for different sources, vocals, acoustic, piano, guitar, and overhead drum kit. Now I bought the M179 from a drummer who used it for that purpose, and it was a very popular microphone. I would imagine the CL8a would also perform fairly well there. I'm not a drummer, but I will say that when I was reached out to by Samson, they suggested these microphones for the purpose of ASMR. which is pretty popular on YouTube, and maybe I'll try to demonstrate that in a bit. So just keep in mind these microphones are probably targeting ASMR audiences rather than drummers, but the M179s, which are very similar, were used for drum kits. It also touches on the shock mount, the SP01 shock mount, which Samson also included, which is kind of nice. There's a little rubber stopper in there. And yeah, as you can see, I mounted one on the microphone there, and it mounted on pretty easily. The M179 should come with a shock mount, or at least you can buy a shock mount for it. When I bought these microphones off the drummer, he didn't really have anything other than the case. And so the M179 came with a metal case, which is kind of nice. And that would explain probably the $30 difference between these two microphones, because the Samsung just came with a cardboard case. Still probably adequate for carrying things in, protecting it, but it's not as good. It did come with a little leather pouch, though, which is, I guess, something. It also did come with a little product registration slip and some little adapters for different mic mounts. Okay, let's get into testing out the audio quality of these microphones. Okay, I have turned both microphones towards me, and they are both about 6 inches away from my mouth. I did buy these foam windscreens for my M179s. I found that sometimes I would get plosives. Some air would blow out of my mouth and cause some loud distortion. And I found that putting on some foam helped reduce those plosives. They also make for a pretty good ASMR experience, huh? Maybe? We'll see. Doesn't quite fit as well on the CL8a, so I might need to use a larger windscreen on that guy. But I'll take them off because I'm not really looking to test with them on. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the polar pattern from omnidirectional to cardioid. On the M179, it's pretty easy. I can just turn the knob and gradually move towards the cardioid pattern, and it doesn't make any noise, and I can easily see the pattern. On the CL8a, I have to kind of guess at where I'm at, and there we are. We are now set to cardioid pattern, I imagine, with the CL8a. I am connecting both microphones up to a USB Pre 2 microphone preamp. It's pretty high quality, and it has, I believe I have the gain set so that both of them are pretty close to the same gain level. And you can tell from the little knobs here that the gain pickup of both microphones are also pretty equal. So you don't really need a whole lot of preamp to power these microphones. I'm only up half the gain. So even some inexpensive $100 microphone preamps will probably power these microphones and give you enough gain to have volume. Now I'm going to switch from cardioid to figure 8. And on the CAD M179, that's again pretty easy. I just have to rotate the knob and the dial, and I'm at figure 8. And on the Samson, I think I have to, I'm set to figure 8 now. On the Samson CL8a, there's a CL8 older model, I believe, and this is a CL8a. and then we have the CAD M179. So both these microphones are in the figure 8 pattern. In terms of the gain on the microphones, I haven't needed to change anything, and it still looks like it's pretty even. Both microphones are about 7 or 6 inches away from my mouth. So next we're going to test out the high pass filter of each microphone. I don't really have a whole lot of noise to introduce right now into these microphones, but what I will do is just show you how it changes my voice. So the high pass filter is on the CL8 now, and I'll turn on the high pass filter for the CAD. So the high pass filter is on for the CAD M179 now, and when I turn it off, this is how it sounds when I turn it off. And for the CL8a, it's currently on, and I'll turn the high pass filter off, and this is how it sounds with the high pass filter off. And so that's the review of the CAD M179 and of the Samson CL8a. Both microphones seem to meet the requirements. I'm happy with both. They both sound good to me. I'll let you decide on that front. The CAD is a little more expensive than the CL8a, and that can show in a few areas like the case, and I do like the rotating dial, but the CL8a is cheaper, nearly $38 cheaper, so that's something to definitely consider. The meshes on both feel very hard, and they both are about the same size and shape, so I don't have a personal preference here, guys. I'll leave that up to you, but thank you for watching, and see you next time.